Kia. I'm your girl, Kia. Oh my gosh, loves, it feels so good to be back, and I love doing these when I have my loves come on my channel. Let me tell them about their stories, what they've been through in life, because you never know who needs to hear it. You never know who needs a motivating, inspirational things in their life. You never know what anyone is going through. But today, loves, for this video, I went to high school with her. Something that I didn't know that she was going through, eating disorders, a few mental illnesses, anxiety, depression, going through that, binge eating, coming out of a toxic relationship, very controlling. How she navigated through that, what is she going through now in her life, her journey of accepting her body, trying to accept her body and her looks, constantly comparing herself to others throughout high school, trying to figure out what she wants out of life with her body and this body shaming, and growing up what we've seen in social media, body shaming, people talking down on people and just shaming them for living their life no matter what their body looks like. So in this video, loves, it was an amazing video, very, very powerful, and I hope you love learn something, because I learned a lot from her. She's a beautiful soul inside and out. So loves, enjoy. Hey loves, today I have with me
Alexa.
I'm super excited for this video, okay? I went to high school with her. I saw one of her Facebook statuses. Immediately when I seen it and I put my YouTube channel back, I was like, you know what? She has to be in my channel. I'm super excited to have you here with me. Before we begin, for my loves who might not know you, because I know most of my loves is from high school, but for my loves who does not know you, tell us more about you, what you like to do, your hobbies, or anything like that.
So I'm 23. I grew up in Glen Ellen, lived there all my life until recently. I have two sisters. I'm just a big family girl. So my favorite thing to do is spend time with family, friends. I've always been into music and that type of stuff, but you know, nothing crazy. I'm not that crazy.
Okay. And your birthday is coming up June 1st, right?
Yes.
And do you have any plans for your birthday?
No,
not yet.
No.
It's okay if you stay home and not do shit, as long as you're having fun and being happy, okay?
There you go, exactly.
But, so, I brought you here because I saw your Facebook status, and I always tell my loves, you never know what anyone is going through, okay? And there's so many people who suffer in silence for so long, so many people can't speak up, and some people don't have their own voices. So I always say, tell your story, because you don't know who you're inspiring, right? So when I seen your post, I was like, you know what? I went to high school with you. I did not know that you were going through that, you know? And first of all, you talked about so much in your post. I just wanted to start with your eating disorders. Like, what are eating disorders, different types? And I know you talked about PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Talk about more about that as well.
Okay, so I have a binge eating disorder. I actually, a few days ago, was 1 year without a binge, which was exciting. Yes, thank you.
Love it, love it.
Yeah, I struggled. I realized that I had the eating disorder more recently, probably like a year and a half ago. I always struggled with body image. Since I was younger, I was always the chubbier sister, and you know, I just noticed, I think when it was middle school, I really noticed that I didn't look like the cool, the popular girls. Like, I looked different. I was short and chubby and had a little Dora haircut. Like, it wasn't cute, but you know, it's, looking back, if I were to talk to that girl now, I'd say she was beautiful, all that stuff. But you know, I struggled with that in middle school. I started comparing myself. In high school, I really started comparing myself because there were like dances and boys and all that fun stuff.
So many different types of people, different types of bodies, because I feel like it's part of life and just being human. We tend to compare ourselves to people. Yeah. And that is okay, but sometimes we compare ourselves so much, and then we like doubt ourselves and we shame ourselves inside. Yes. You know, and especially when you were in high school and just growing up, especially with social media, they were like literally like people who were just so skinny or just so slim, and in the magazine they were like, oh, she's fat, getting fat, all this shit. You know what I'm trying to say? It's ridiculous. And people just in between of like find themselves, still use high school, find yourselves, and you see these girls like, oh, I want to look like her, or like, why, you know, and people body shame you and everything. So you have your own self inside your head, down in yourself. You have other people, and when you see other people, you doubt yourself as well. Yeah. How, from your journey now, how did you like sat down and like, you know what, this is my life, you know, look this way. When did you accept like your body and who you are?
I'm still still learning to accept it, because you know, the binge eating disorder, recognizing it as a binge eating disorder, it really started in college, and I hated my body, and I was so depressed because of how I looked. Like, to me, it's crazy that a physical thing like your body can, and how it looks, can make you feel like that bad. Like, I was not talking to anyone. If I was a bitch to them. I was crying every day. When I would look in the mirror, I would avoid the mirror. Like, it was bad. There was some body dysmorphia there, and it just really impacts how you feel about yourself.
And I really think it messes you up internally as well. And it's a really big issue, because now that you see these like women and all these people, like, they're getting surgery done, like BBLs and so much in their body, it's because they don't like certain parts of their bodies. They had insecurities, and they were shaming themselves. And you see them getting their butt done, their boobs done, like their thighs, and removing their cellulite and their stretch marks and stuff like that. And then you see other people growing up, people who are suffering from body dysmorphia, like you said. And that too, I just knew about that this past year. A lot of people suffer with that and don't even know what it is. My sister was telling me about that as well. And then it's just so crazy to see, because not a lot of people talk about, I know we talk about body shaming, but it's not like, there's not many body positivity out there.
There's not. And I always say, like, do what you want with your body. It's your body. If you want to get a nose job or get a butt lift, do it. If it's going to make you feel good about yourself, and don't listen to what anyone else is going to say. But we have to have some appreciation for our body. Otherwise, we're not going to live a happy life. And it's miserable when you don't appreciate your body.
Because you can get so much work done on your body, but after you get so much work done and you're like, I'm still not happy, you gotta fix what's in your heart and your soul. Dig deep in there. You know what I'm saying? Because there's like not that much body positivity out there. Because literally, you know how they have like Miss USA, all these pageants and stuff. You know what I was thinking? I was like, why isn't there a plus size Miss USA? Like, I think that would make a total difference, because the Miss USA, you see them all slim, they all look damn near the same. You know what I'm trying to say? And why don't you have mixed in the same different bodies?
Beauty standards they change every year. It seems like 1 year you have to be a stick with a thigh gap, and the next year you have to have an hourglass shape and big boobs and a big butt. And I'm like,
yes,
and choose one.
Yes, and it's just like certain people who dance or anything, like, oh, I don't have an ass, I can't twerk. But the thing is, who said you gotta have an ass to twerk?
Exactly.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you see Coy Leroy, what's her name? Coy Ray. That she was shaking her butt. She's got a little tiny one. You know what I'm trying to say? But like, you need to live your life. Okay, live your life. And
there shouldn't be beauty standards.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's so crazy. Every generation, every time it changes. Like, I remember Marilyn Monroe back in the day. She was known as like a plus size model, like you know what I'm trying to say, back in her day. You know,
like, wow, that's
and
plus size.
You know how people, like, when people are so confident, it's just so crazy, because it's like, it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. If you live your life, do what you do. People talk, because like Lizzo, she dances, just living her life. People still talk shit about her.
I know.
And her body. I was like, are you serious?
It's ridiculous.
And it's so crazy, because you don't know what nobody going through. And she'll be just living her life, doing what the fuck she wants to do, and people talk about her body every fucking day.
It's ridiculous.
It's just like, what the fuck? And they'd be like, you guys are normalizing obesity and shit
oh
like
my
that.
God.
Like,
oh my God. I've
like,
seen so many of those
I
lately.
hate that shit.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Nobody's saying that obesity is like, I don't know, nobody's like, I don't know what the word is, idolizing obesity, something like that. But
she is happy,
and she's healthy, and she's happy,
carefree, just happy living herself in her body.
If you're
healthy,
who are we
to say, you know what I'm trying to say?
If you're healthy,
people, girl,
it's not your business.
I hate that so much. And like, I saw a post, because one thing I like about social media, I learn something new every single day,
Yeah, absolutely.
And literally, like, when I see like plus size women, like bigger women, I'm really like thinking to myself, oh my gosh, they're so confident on the shit. But I saw a comment one time, and somebody was saying, stop saying I love your confidence. But I was thinking, no, because like when you tell, no, but listen, when you tell people who's like a bigger person than you, and you tell them I love your confidence, like, it depends. I always say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yes,
like, so you're trying to say, because like big people can't have confidence. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, And then when I seen that, I'm like, I'm gonna stop saying that because I know what I know.
They don't say
you know
it
what I'm
on
trying
like
to say.
confident skinny girls
Exactly.
posts.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I
Yeah,
seen that and I was like, I'm gonna stop saying that. You know, they're like, I love your confidence. And it's just like what the fuck, you know? Like,
okay, it's normal. What are you talking about?
Yes, but I really love how this generation, like, we're literally owning up to our body and we're trying to. We're trying to. Not, you know, I know
It's hard.
No, it is hard, but
we're doing it.
let me tell you, because once I started my OnlyFans and posting and stuff, I still go through my body shaming stuff.
I see some of your posts when people
And
say
then,
shit. I'm
girl,
like, are you kidding me?
Don't even get me started
Like,
on
fuck
that.
off.
That is, but my other loves that's bigger than me, plus size women, they motivate me. You know, we're dancing and wearing 2 pieces and wearing bathing suits, and I'm like, you know what? People like that, you guys lift me up too.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes I don't like my body sometimes, and I don't need people to know that. Like, just because you see people posting a body and do all that, we still, like, especially I have anxiety. There's shit in my head, you know, there's shit in my head telling me like, oh my gosh, your gut is out. Oh, suck it in.
God,
Sometimes,
yes.
you know what? You take a picture, like, you know what? I'm not gonna suck it in. I'm not sucking it in this time. I'm not sucking it in. This is, you know what I'm trying to say? Suck it in for what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So other people could see. You know what I'm saying?
I admit, I still use Facetune.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's, to me, I'm still trying to accept my body,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm working with functional doctors to fix the internal issues like the PCOS, which are affecting my weight and affecting my entire well-being.
Exactly.
Basically.
Let's talk about that. Your PCOS.
Mhm.
How does that affect with your eating disorder? And talk about your anxiety and depression as well.
Okay, so I'll start with anxiety. That started when I was a kid, and I didn't recognize it as anxiety, but I would do things like, I was the biggest worrier in the world. I would run into my parents' room at midnight, almost every night, say, I am scared that you're going to die. And then I would sleep in their room on their floor, and that went on for I don't know how long. And then come middle school, I would take hours doing, like, writing a paragraph for homework because it needed to be perfect, and I was worried I wouldn't say the right thing. And then come college, I remember I took this math test, and I walked out of that test knowing I failed. I did fail, but I was like, that test was awful. I called my dad sobbing, and my thought pattern with that was, I did bad in this test, so I'm going to fail the class. My GPA is going to go down. I'm going to fail out of college. I'm not going to get a job. I'm going to be homeless, and I'm going to die alone. Just from failing a test. So my anxiety was really bad.
It's so crazy because with your anxiety, many things you think about that's gonna happen doesn't even fucking happen.
It never happens.
That is the fucking worst.
Like,
It's the craziest thing.
Graduated from U of I, and I got a psychology degree, and I have a job, and I'm proud of that because, you know, with my anxiety was like, you're not doing that. There's no chance. But with the depression, I think that had a lot more to do with my body. My depression was very body centered.
Yeah.
And the PCOS also affected, like, the PCOS, the eating disorder, and the depression are all kind of tied together.
Yes.
So the PCOS, it's hormone imbalances. So for me, I have very high testosterone, which causes weight gain, acne, facial hair growth, like hair loss it can cause. So those have been like some of my symptoms. The weight gain, I gained 30 pounds in 2 months. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? Because, yeah, I had this eating disorder, and it kind of, like, fucked with my weight a little bit, but 30 pounds in 2 months, like, what?
Yeah, that's excessive.
Yeah,
yes.
And there was the insulin resistance is another thing, and I have low progesterone, and so my hormones are a mess, and I'm on supplements, and I'm eating a certain way in order to balance that. But with the eating disorder, because I saw myself gaining all this weight, another part of the binging disorder is restricting. So when I saw myself gaining all this weight, I started restricting again. I was like, I need to go on a diet because what the fuck just happened? Like, I gained all this weight. I thought I was doing the right thing because I was eating a healthy, like, balanced diet, but allowing myself to have these things in order to recover from the eating disorder. So it, like, the PCOS weight gain caused restriction, which caused binging. It's kind of like an endless cycle. But then when I gained all that weight, my depression was insanely bad.
Yes.
It was mean to everyone, or in my room, crying every day, avoiding the mirrors, all that stuff. So it all tied together in a not so fun way.
And like you said, like, you still learning to accept your body, you still have those challenges. And I always tell my loves, like, healing is linear. Everyone's journey is different, you know what I'm saying? And that is okay. Everyone, we're still trying to figure out what we want in life and trying to figure out more on ourselves and just continue working on ourselves, you know what I'm saying? But like you said, where you're now, you feel like you're still trying to accept your body. And what are the challenges you still face? What are the challenges you still face today, other than just accepting your body?
Yeah, so, I mean, I am on a diet now, and I don't like to call it a diet because of how that plays into the eating disorders, but I have changed my eating in a way that a functional nutritionist recommended in order to fix my inflammation and my PCOS and all these other internal issues I have going on. So I'm doing that, but it involves me weighing myself because I have to check in with my weight and see how I'm doing and what I need to change, and it's not good for your body. So it's still a struggle, but luckily I feel so grateful that I have the resources that I do. I have my therapist. I can talk to her about it. My support system, my family, my friends, they're always extremely supportive. They're always there for me. But yeah, it really does impact it, and it impacts my appreciation of my body because that's a hard thing to do. It's hard to appreciate your body when you hated it for so long. Like, I would, every day I'd say, I fucking hate my body. I cannot stand it. I don't want to be in this body. I love my life with, like, all my heart. I would never go to that dark of a place, but I just wanted to be in a different body.
It was a struggle. It was a battle for you every day, and it still is.
Yeah.
It's manageable now because you got the resources and support of your friends and family, but it's still a battle for you, and it's something that you go through every day. But the thing is, you're still working on yourself, and I applaud you for that because it's not easy. It takes so much courage and braveness and just so much strength to just realize that I need the help and go out there and do it. A lot of people think needing help or going to therapy or anything you need outside resources is weak and something's wrong with you, but no, that's the first step. It's being aware that something is going on, you know what I'm saying?
Going to therapy does not make you weak. It actually makes you strong.
And it helps you better your life, your decisions you make. It is,
anyone who goes to therapy, I applaud them. It takes so much courage to go there, because it almost feels like, at first for me, I didn't want to go to therapy because I felt like I was admitting that there's something wrong with me.
Exactly.
And after, like, realizing, now that's the thing I like about social media, is people are open about this stuff. Some people. And seeing that other people are going to therapy and they're open to talking about it, it makes you realize, okay, going to therapy is okay. I'm doing this because I want to help my well-being. I want to help myself, and it takes courage. It's not some easy thing, and it's not something that makes you weak.
Exactly. Honestly, it's. If anyone loves therapy, like, how do you like it and everything? And it's like, when you first try out, because not every therapist is the same. You got to find what therapist works for you. You know what I'm saying?
Like 3 different therapists.
Yes, exactly. It's like a trial. Same thing when you take medication or anything. It's like a trial. You got to figure out what works for you. You know. Yeah. And you talked about your family and friends. Like, having a supportive family and friends. How does that help you along with your journey?
I mean, they're the people I go to. Because I'm such a big family person. My mom is my best friend. I tell her everything, and my dad, he's so supportive. He always wants to fix things, and he can't always fix things, but because of that, he always wants to learn, and he wants to understand, like, how can he help me or support me throughout this journey, not help me be happy with my body, because no one's going to be able to do that but myself. But like my parents, they're always open to talking about whatever I need to talk about. They've paid for stuff for me, like they've paid for these resources, therapy and functional doctors, like, they have paid for those, and for that I'm like forever grateful, because it has helped me like tremendously. And my sisters, they go through their own struggles, but we all are able to talk to each other about them and kind of support each other and give each other advice where we see fit. And of course my friends, like, they're always there for me, and they let me rant, they let me cry, they rant and cry to me, like, we're just there for each other. And I think that just makes the whole process so much easier.
It makes it so much better, especially to know that you're not alone.
Yes.
So I always tell my loves, never suffer in silence. That's why I say, tell your story, because you never know who needs to hear it, who needs to be motivated, like inspired, because you don't know if they're going through the same thing, you know what I'm saying? But you cannot suffer in silence, because once you do, you're hurting yourself more and just building your own brick wall. Don't suffer in silence. If you don't have at least one person, you always have me if you need any help. If you're going through the same thing or something similar to what Alexa's going through, if you don't have at least one person, I would advise, you can always contact me, and if anything similar, you can come to her or any questions, and just take the first step. Any programs with you. I know, like, with there's a behavioral hospitals you can go to that has like meetings. There's places you can have meetings. A similar thing. People just like you have meetings. You can talk about what you're going through. Go to therapy or resources. Just not do nothing. If you feel like there's something wrong, just repeating the same cycle, and you feel like I had to do something different, sometimes speaking to an outside source helps you figure that out.
That's kind of my hope with when I post on social media. I don't have like a big following. I don't. I have my friends that I made in high school and college, middle school, and my family. Like, that's who follows me. And my only hope with like posting about my experience with the eating disorder and the PCOS and toxicity and anxiety and all of that stuff is that someone can either feel like they can trust me enough to tell me or talk to me if they need help, or to make them feel like they're not in it alone. It's never to get compliments from somebody or sympathy. I don't need that. I have enough of it with my family.
Exactly. That's what we were just talking about before, because same thing with me, because loves, I'm not gonna suffer in silence. I tell my loves what I'm going through, stuff that I feel comfortable with sharing. And then we got these miserable fucks who like to shame people and be like, you want attention, you want sympathy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, shut the fuck up. Like, worry about yourself. Like, I hate that. Like, we don't be telling our stories for you miserable fucks to shame us. We tell our stories to motivate others, let them know that you are not alone. You know what I'm trying to say? Absolutely. That's what I wanted to ask you, because I saw your Facebook status and I was like, I did not know you were going through this. And she literally, it was such a detailed, powerful post. Each picture, like, what she talked about, what she went through in depth and everything, and it was just so powerful. That's why I tell people, share your motherfucking story. Share your story, because also it helps you as well. People will comment you like, I don't feel so alone, I'm going through the same thing, and you're like, I am not alone. I am not the only one going through this. You know what I'm saying?
The best compliment, if I were to take compliments from posting that stuff, it's thank you for sharing this. This helped me. It's good to know I'm not going through it alone. That's what I want.
I love hearing that. Like, and it motivates you to keep going, and it helps you. Like, you know what? Like, maybe again, I want to share this again, because you don't know who needs that uplifting. You don't know what anyone is going through, because there's so many people out there who has no one to go to. They leave that shit bottled inside. That's why they come to you, read your posts, go to your Facebook, mine's, any one of your loves. They go to your stuff to see it, because and they follow you for a reason. They like what you post. You motivate them. You uplift them. You let them forget that their life is not so fucking chaotic. You know what I'm saying? Because all of life is fucking chaotic. Okay, life is not easy. Okay, it definitely is not. Okay, but I want to talk about you binging. Like, you've been binge 4 times a serving in just one sitting. How you refused to admit anything was wrong. Talk about you binging, and when did you realize that, okay, like, something's wrong,
So, I guess it kind of started, I've always yo-yo dieted. I took after my dad with that. We kind of laughed about it.
What is yo-yo diet? I never heard that before.
It's like for me, it's basically going on any diet I can. Like, I tried a very restrictive diet, like low calories. I tried keto. I tried no carbs, no sugar. I just tried everything under the sun, and I would lose 5 pounds, get bored of the diet, eat something I want to eat, gain back the weight, do another diet. So that kind of, I think it kind of launched everything. Because part of binge eating disorder is restriction. So when you're dieting, you're restricting yourself. That's just what it is. But in college, I started dating this boy who went through his own health journey in high school. He was larger, and he wanted to lose weight because people were making comments and they were bullying him. So he went to the gym and he dieted and lost a bunch of weight. So we started dating, and I had gained like the freshman 30, which also is totally fine. If you're gonna gain weight in college, that's fine. Eat what you want to, enjoy your life, do what makes you feel good, happy, healthy, whatever. But anyway, he had went home for a weekend, and I went to Chipotle. I got myself a burrito bowl, a large chips and queso, an Izzy drink. I had 10 packets of fruit snacks and a pint of ice cream in 2 hours. All of that food in 2 hours. I am 5 feet tall. That is not what you're like. I was like, what did I just
It's
do?
like eating for 2 and shit.
Right, eating for like 5. I was like, what is going on? So I ate all this stuff, and I felt disgusting. I felt awful, and like it was one of those things where you eat until you feel sick, but when you're eating, you don't realize that you're getting to that point. But it's like when you stop and pause for a second, you're like, oh my God, what just happened? So it was one of those moments, and I reached out to this guy, and I said, I want you to help me lose weight, because this is just not it. I'm like not happy with my body and what I'm eating. And so I started going to the gym with him. He started helping me meal prep. Very, very much fine. It was just fine. He was helping me, and I was grateful, whatever. And I actually really got into lifting. I love lifting. It made me feel confident and strong. It changed my body. I haven't done that in a couple of years for other reasons, but eventually he started treating helping me with my diet and my exercise as like his job.
And it became like excessive and controlling.
It was less like I'm your girlfriend and more like I'm your client. And I'm just like, he would watch me weigh myself. He would make me weigh myself every day. He would make me track my calories. We would eat very clean and very healthy throughout the week. Saturday was our cheat days. And that, that's when I would just enjoy myself. I would have a frap from Starbucks, and I would have a full giant meal of stuff that I probably if I listened to my body wouldn't be able to finish. And I would have ice cream, and I would just go all out because that's what I wanted to do. And so that kind of started a slow cycle of binging. So it would happen every weekend. And there was one week I went up to him and I was like, I am so tired and I'm exhausted and I don't feel well. I ate 600 to 800 calories each day this week. I feel like shit. And he's like, well, you're losing weight and it's working, so keep doing that. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Good advice. Thank you.
And you would share to him, confide in him because that was your man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he didn't.
He made it worse. He made your depression worse. What you're going through just worse. It made you feel shitty about yourself.
Absolutely. And then he actually ended up moving in with me and my family for a couple of months because of his separate circumstances, and it was totally fine. But I started sneaking away from him. He would go play video games or go work or something. And that's when I would take the opportunity to go into the kitchen and eat 5 servings of a snack that I couldn't have because it wasn't something that he accepted on my diet.
So you had to hide and eat and everything.
So that became 3 to 4 times a week. And I think the definition of binge eating disorder is it has to happen more than twice a week for a certain period of time. I forgot what the exact numbers were, but I didn't really recognize that until toward the end of our relationship, and I looked it up and I was like, oh, I kind of do that. And so I brought it up to him and I was like, I think I have binge eating disorder. And he asked me if that was an excuse for gaining weight.
Say that.
I was like, I wish it was. No, it's not an excuse.
You're getting down to the bottom of it.
Yeah. And then we broke up, thankfully. And I went to a functional medicine doctor. and I kind of talked to her about what was happening, and she referred me to an eating disorder nutritionist. And that's when I was kind of like diagnosed with, you have this eating disorder, here's how we're going to work on it, work toward intuitive eating. That's a goal long into the future, and I'm still not there. But it's being comfortable with hunger and fullness, and not learning to trust food, because I don't trust food. I think if I eat a piece of bread, I'm going to gain 5 pounds. Like that was my mindset, because that's what he kind of taught me. And so I was like, oh, I have to eat chicken and rice and vegetables, and that's it. Like, that's my diet. That's all I can have. So that's kind of when I really started recognizing it as the eating disorder. And then it was, as I was working on recovery, I gained all this weight. It was like 30 pounds in 2 months, and I was like, what is going on? The functional medicine doctor diagnosed me with PCOS, and that's how it all came about. Yeah.
And that was a pretty toxic relationship. But now looking back in relationship, what did you learn, and what do you struggle with relationships now?
I mean, I learned what I want and what I don't want.
That's the best.
He was not a very emotional person. He was not a very emotionally intelligent person, and I'm a very sensitive, emotional person. My love languages are physical touch and words of affirmation. He didn't give me any of that. If I was feeling bad about myself, I would say, like, do I look okay? Like, genuinely ask me, like, should I change? And he'd be honest with me, you look fine, and then keep going. Like, it was never like,
I'm so happy not like
I know.
Oh my gosh, that makes a difference too.
It kind of, I would say I'm much more cautious now when it comes to that stuff, and I almost feel like I seek red flags instead of waiting for them to pop up and recognizing them, taking note. I'm like, is that a red flag? Is that a red flag? Like, what should I look out for? But now I have my filters in my head, like, he doesn't seem like, or he doesn't like affection, he's out, he's this way,
that's what I'm talking about.
That's
what I'm talking about. I can definitely tell that you learn from what you've been through, learn from relationships, and that's the most important thing. But let it change you, let it make you cold-hearted, fuck the world, and don't learn from it. Learn from it. And just what you just said, I was like, I'm so proud of you, girl.
Thank you.
I'm the same motherfucking way, because I'm not ready to date again. But when I do, immediately, because I know what I want, I know my worth, and I ain't settling for less. So 2 red flags, 1 red flag. The first one, one and done, baby. I ain't done. Like, nah, I ain't gonna shit. Nah.
I don't need that again.
No more. Hell no. But tell me some stories, like things people have told you to hate your body more, or like your journey that would have you compare yourself up to any other girl or any person.
Yeah, I think when I was younger, it was so I'm half Filipino, and the Filipino culture is very food and body centered, and the comments were made, and it's never it's never ill-intended. It's always comes from a good place, and they do it out of love. But like my grandmother, she has like some medical issues, and her brain, Filipinos don't really have a filter, but on top of that, she has even less of a filter because of a stroke she had, and cancer, and all of this stuff that went on. So she's in a wheelchair, monotonous, all that stuff. So she had said to me before, when I was I guess high school maybe, she said, "You're fat." And I was like, what the fuck? Did that just happen? I ran out of the room, and then she slowly processed, like, oh, I just said that, and I did not mean to say that. And she apologized to me, and then more recently, as I was losing weight, she's like, "Alexa, you look pretty," and I was like, "Oh, thank you." And she goes, "You've been losing weight." And I was like, there's the kicker.
It's like never just a compliment, you know? It's just like,
So that impacted it. But I guess like one of the most recent, I went out to a bar with my sister, and we got a couple drinks, and afterward we went to Taco Bell, and we're like, we're gonna just enjoy ourselves, drunk, have fun, whatever. And we were in the car eating, and this car full of 4 probably like 21-year-olds pull up next to us, and they're like, roll the window down. And I was like, Lily was driving, my sister, and was like, oh, just roll it down. Like, it's fun. It's fine. It's like nothing serious, whatever. So she rolls the window down, and they're complimenting her, and I'm like, yeah, go off, like, whatever. And they're saying, like, go to this bar, and Lily's like, oh, no, I don't want to go to a bar. And so I just peeked over, I said, no thanks. And some kid in the back was like, no one's talking to you, fat bitch. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
Oh,
wow.
and
girl, if I was there, baby.
I was having such a good night, and that comment just shut me down. Like, I was quiet the ride home. I cried. I was like, he's right. Like, I'm fat. He doesn't even know. Like, to me, I always had the mindset, like, my mom has to say I'm beautiful. She's my mom. My sisters have to say it. They're my sister, my friends, like, all of that. But these random guys, they don't have to say any of that. So they're just being honest, right? Like, they're, so.
And that ate you up, because it's so crazy, because words do hurt. We're humans, you know what I'm trying to say? And it's so crazy, because you never know what anyone's going through. He did not know you're going through. You know what I'm trying to say? And that right there is damaging. Just that simple thing that he said, that's damaging. That hurts. Words do hurt. No one likes to be called fat or anything, you know, because it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And let me tell you, people who talk down on you, shame you, make fun of you, just let you know they're going through a battle within themselves. They're unhappy with themselves. So miserable fucks like to put their restrictions on themselves onto you. Don't just remember that for next time, okay? Don't dim your light for nobody, because you are beautiful inside and out, girl, for real.
There was there's just another story I thought of, but it was in high school, and I had lost a bunch of weight. I lost like 30 pounds, I think, and it was the smallest I'd ever been in like my young adult body, and I felt like pretty good about myself. And we were in California, and me and my sister went to the store, and I saw this like jumpsuit that I wanted to try on, and if it didn't fit, I wasn't gonna try and make it fit, because that's not what you do with clothes. But I grabbed this piece, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go try it on, and the lady who worked there was a very small, petite woman, very skinny. She's like, that's not gonna fit you. I was like, but it's a medium, like I'm a medium. I was a medium. And she's like, oh, yeah, no, I can tell it's just not gonna fit you. And she kinda like looked me up and down, and I'm like, I'm 16 years old, and I was like, okay. So I put the piece back, and I ran out crying, and my sister went in there and started like yelling at her, and like got me a free makeup brush, which was nice, because she felt bad. But that was after losing weight and still getting that comment. I was like, I cannot do anything right. Like, I'm never going to be enough to meet those societal beauty norms. Like, I'm never gonna get there. So I think the comments that impacted me the most were either from strangers or from my last relationship. So.
You gotta know, as long as it's enough for you, okay? So as long as it's enough for you, your happiness is all that matters. Because that's how, girl, my woman is still open in the last year with OnlyFans and shit, but so many people shaded me, talked down on me, and girl, I almost forgot who the fuck I was. I almost let their restrictions on themselves, how they felt, on themselves, their reflections get to me. I had members, it's my life. I'm living for me. You know what I'm saying? And it is hard. It is not hard. Thank you.
Beautiful. And you're going off.
Thank you. But it is not easy. So this is great so far. It's going great. But you know, I asked all my loves. I just want to know, because I want to know more about my loves and all this shit. But where do you see yourself from like the next 10 years from now? Where do you like to see yourself?
I mean, I would like to have a family one day. That's my big thing. Like, I want to have my dream job, and I also want to have my dream family. That's I'm just that type of girl. Like, my main hope is going to be that I at least appreciate my body. I want to be happy with it. Do I want to lose weight? Yeah. And I probably still am going to work toward it with the support of a doctor, doing a functional doctor, doing it in a healthy way with supplements and cleaner eating, and not depriving myself of everything. So I want to do that in a healthy way, but I really just want to be happy with myself, appreciate myself, because my body, as much as I think it fucks me over, it does so much for me. It keeps me alive in this life that I love.
Make sure you take care of it. And you're doing good mentally and physically as well. But let my loves know, like, let my loves know how eating disorders can come from so many different aspects of life. Like, just because you know one person with an eating disorder, mental illness, or anything does not mean you know them all. You know.
Yeah. So, eating disorders are very tricky. There's, first of all, there's different kinds. There's like binge eating disorder, anorexia nervosa. There's bulimia. There's one I forgot the name of, but like when you go to the gym and eat chicken and like I forgot what the name is, but it's basically like what was wrong with my ex. You had not wrong with him. There's nothing, if you have an eating disorder, there's nothing wrong with you. You are there's a struggle. It's an extra struggle that you have to work through, but it doesn't make you less of a person.
And it's so crazy because I always gotta remind myself that, because so many, when my mental illness is really bad, like I literally be like, what is wrong with me? Like I literally put that on myself. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, why can't it be normal? And I literally have to wake up and be like, yeah, does not mean something is wrong with you. You
100%.
know?
I absolutely have like pitied myself, threw myself the biggest pity party in the world, because I have this eating disorder, I have PCOS, I have inflammation, I have anxiety and depression, like there's so much wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm still worthy. I'm still a human being. I'm just struggling, and people have struggles, and
that is okay.
Yeah, and don't compare your struggles to others either. Like, yeah, people might be going through something that's a little more extreme than what you're going through, but it's what you're going through is still hard, and you still deserve to recognize that. But back to the eating disorders, where they come from, it can come from literally anywhere. Like, for me, it was dieting and social media and toxic relationships and culture and environment. Like, it was everything, and it can come from all those places, and it can derive from PCOS, it can come from anxiety, it can it can literally come from anywhere. So that's the other thing. If your eating disorder looks different from somebody else's, that doesn't mean one of you is not struggling with it. Like, just because it comes from a different place doesn't mean it's not equally challenging and you're not going through it. You are. You're going through an eating disorder, and it sucks. Eating disorders are hard because it's not only are you learning to not be afraid of food, but you're also learning to accept yourself, because that not only do eating disorders come from different places, but they cause different things, like the body dysmorphia for me, and the depression. Like, it impacts and is impacted by so many different things.
But I love that, because you don't know what anyone's going through. I always say that, but it's so, it is true. And like, what you're going through is valid, and your feelings are valid. If you want anybody who make you feel like shit, or like what you're going through is not valid, like I always gotta tell myself, like, I don't like people be like, or people have it worse than you. Like, I always remind myself to not say that, because that's like deters from what you're going through, shit like that. Like, just because people have it worse than me does not mean what I'm going through isn't bad, you know?
And I
you know what I'm saying? I do that,
I have a friend who's like, she is going through it, this poor girl. And I'm like, I've said, like, oh my God, like, I shouldn't complain about what I'm going through, because I could not imagine going through what she's going through. But that doesn't make what I'm going through not hard. And it's you should be able to say, yeah, I'm struggling and it's hard and I need help and I want someone to lean on. It's okay to admit that there's nothing wrong with you. You're not weak. It's the opposite. Like, you're courageous for doing this, and you're strong for reaching out for help. And there's an eating disorder doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. It just means you have a different relationship with food.
Exactly, yes, I love that. But before we end the video, let my loves know, like, anything to let them know who's suffering, like, which is accepting their body or just loving themselves, anything you want to just words of wisdom or anything for them.
I think a big trick that I learned from my therapist and eating disorder specialist is, when you look back, if your struggles came from when you were a kid, think about, like, if that little girl or little boy or like came up to you and they said, I feel so ugly and I hate myself and I'm not pretty like the other girls, like, what would you say to them? You wouldn't say, okay, then go on a diet and like fix yourself. No, you'd say, you are beautiful and you are so loved, and it doesn't matter what anybody thinks as long as you feel happy and healthy and like you feel good about yourself. You're going to be kind to them. So that's the biggest advice, is like treat yourself with compassion and be nice to yourself.
Yes.
Because you might want some support from other people, but you need to get support from yourself. You need to be nice to yourself, because that's the biggest part of eating disorders, is the negative self-talk. It's bad, negative self-talk. So like, be nice to yourself and realize that you're not going through it alone. Nothing's wrong with you. Just treat yourself like you would treat the younger you, or treat yourself like you would treat anybody else. Because I guarantee, unless you're like a bitch, you're not gonna go up to someone and be like, you're fat and ugly, like you need to change. No, you're gonna say you're beautiful, and it's okay that you're going through that, and I'm here for you, and I'm going to support you, and be kind to yourself and love yourself. Like that's what. So treat yourself like you're gonna treat someone else.
Exactly, I love that. I always say that. Treat people how you would like to be treated. That, I think that's true as fuck. No matter how hard it is, you have to. Don't let nobody change your heart. Never. Be kind. Show love, sympathy. Just, we're humans, okay? And it's okay to feel. Thank you, Alexa, for being Nice Love on my YouTube channel. This was amazing. Eye-opener. I learned so much about you and about eating disorders. And I want to thank you. Continue to use your voice, your heart, and your light to shine on others, because you do make a difference. You're beautiful inside and out. And I'm here with you. Anything you need through your journey, you know I'm here. Call, text away. I got your number now and everything. And my love's got to support for my loves and everything. Stay true to who you are. Do what makes you happy, okay? And remember, healing is not linear, and that is okay. It's our journey. As long as we learn as we go. And just want you to know I am proud of you getting the help that you need, because I know it is not easy.
And I'm proud of you, because this is amazing. You're using your voice, and you're using your platform, and you're spreading positivity and awareness. And that's all that anyone struggling with anything can hope for. So thank you.
Thank you, beautiful. Thank you. So I hope you loves enjoyed this video. It was great. So happy. I haven't seen her since high school, and
It's been so long.
she's so beautiful inside and out, and I'm just so proud of her, loves. And I'm proud of you, loves. Remember, whatever you do, don't suffer in silence. Continue to spread positivity and peace, because more importantly, people in this world is hurting. You're hurting. Working and healing, and everything will be okay. Take it day by day. Hope you loves. Have an amazing weekend.
Bye.